Good morning. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris from Up Coach. Today, we're going to be talking about running your business after you've experienced a major life event or you've navigated through something that's been quite difficult in your life, and how to overcome that and work within a business, because it can be very tough. Because sometimes, if your mind's not in the game, everything seems to fall apart. But today, Nick wants to break that down and really shed some light on what you can be doing if you're traveling through a bit of a turbulent time, or if you have traveled through a turbulent time and you're still running your business. But before we get into it, Nick, how are you this morning?
Very good. So I feel like doing that. Good morning, Vietnam.
I've thought about it.
In my head. Good morning, Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing really, really good. I'm keen, and I think this is a topic that's very relevant. It very rarely gets spoken about, but I think it's definitely relevant.
Yes, definitely. So let's kick straight into it. Look, if you've experienced a significant life event, and Nick will probably break this down a bit more, but let's say you've been through and you've had an illness, or a spouse of yours has had an illness and you're trying to run a business, or something's happened, you may have lost a loved one, but you've still got the business to run. It's not quite at a stage where you can kind of step away and let it run by itself. Nick, what's some advice that you have around running a business, maintaining that level of kind of mental tenacity and managing to, I guess, navigate through the tough times whilst keeping the business moving along at the same time?
Yeah, look, I think, let me kind of rewind back a little bit on this. I feel that running a business is literally like running a back-to-back marathon every day for 30 years. It's actually more, because in a marathon, you just need to run kind of forward, and that's kind of it, where, business, there's so many different elements. Tack to that, then your personal life, and there's no separation. It really isn't. Whatever's happening in your personal life, at some level, way, shape, or form, is going to affect you as a business owner, undoubtedly.
Yes,
And
100%.
that's why I always tell people, just sort out your personal life and your business will become better. Be happy at home, you'll be happy in business, usually. But sometimes, unfortunately, certain things are thrust on you and you have to figure it out. Like it's called life, right? Business is there to support your life, not the other way around, right? And it kind of got me thinking, and I was just recently away, and, we were talking with a whole bunch of dudes, and, some of their spouses have experienced, things like cancer and, some major illnesses and stuff like that, depression. Some of them are going through it, their parents, stuff like this, elderly parents that they need to deal with. So it kind of made me think to go, well, how do you still show up every day? Because business is about showing up every day. If you get up from bed and at least show up, that's a good start. If you show up and contribute, that's an even better start. And if you show up, contribute, go home reasonably satisfied, I think that's an even better process. You're going to be happy every day. I think the answer is probably bullshit. No. Some days great, some days aren't as great, some days you're just like, hey man, it would have been good to go to the beach today. That's just
That's right.
how it works.
Yeah.
And I hate speaking to people that are startups and stuff like that think, oh, every day is going to be awesome and high-fiving, and they get into the whole Tony Robbins stuff, and it's like, it's cool, but it's even Tony Robbins doesn't high-five every day. I know, because I know people that know him personally. So, and I've met him a few times and stuff, right? So, when you really think about that, it's a series of events that needs to continue to happen. So, and I kind of wrote down some notes just before this to do it. Now, there's 500 different ways, right? Now, let me start by setting this up. I personally don't have a major illness and I haven't dealt with it. But if you count a ruptured Achilles twice, 6 months in the boot, the passing away of my nephew, my brother-in-law, my uncle, my aunties, all of that type of stuff as life events, and then having a heart attack, well, at some levels, I'm going to say I qualify. Am I living with somebody that's got a major illness? The answer is no, touch wood, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I want to set this up because I'm only semi-guessing from what it is, but I'm also giving you my life experience along the line of it, on how I felt. Some people go, well, heart attack, kind of, that'll do it, right? So I thought I'd start there. So number one, I think as a business owner, you need to acknowledge that this is your world today. I always post my world today, which kind of reminds me of different places and different events that I've had on that particular day. And I like to do it so in a year's time, 2 years, 3 years' time, when it comes back up as a, hey, this was your past, the last 5 years today you did that, that instant photo can take me back to what I do. Like just on the weekend, posted a picture, 30, 40, 30 dudes there or whatever, and now I'll remember that just from that photo. It brings me back to that.
Mm.
So first of all, I think it's about acknowledging that you're living with this, whether it's on you or whether it's somebody else. And most people try to deny it. No, I'm not living. Don't tell anybody. Kind of disengage from it. No, it's not me. Living in denial. And the worst thing you can do, especially with an illness, is live with denial of it. I remember attending a lecture with Dr. Wayne Dyer, my spiritual guru. I studied him extensively. Had the great pleasure of hanging out with him. This guy's at another level. Unfortunately, he had illnesses and, eventually killed him. So, however, he's not saying that he didn't have it. He acknowledged that he had it, but also then said it's time for it to go. So, he used his spirituality and meditation to minimize it. And he lived well past where he should have done. Now, unfortunately, at the end, it came, right? So, but acknowledging it is the beginning of it. Okay, I need to live with this. I've got it. What do we do now? Because some people, if you don't have a plan B, you got to bloody figure it out. Heart attack isn't that it came and now I'm like in denial. It happened, but now I've got the choice to do whatever I need to do to get that done. Hence, my exercise regime, better nutrition, medication, all of that type of stuff, right? So number one is that. And by the way, these aren't in a specific order, but I just put them as best order as I can.
Sure.
Number two, I feel, is compartmentalize it. And here's what I mean by compartmentalize. A lot of people, when they have an illness or they're alcoholics or, something that's a major life event, it almost feels like that's become them. Hey, I'm a recovering alcoholic, versus I don't drink anymore. It's a frame of mind, funny enough. Or, I've compartmentalized. Sure, I've had a, ruptured Achilles. Then I did it twice. I still have a little bit of a limp. My calf isn't as big, but I don't go around going, hey, how you doing, man? I've got a ruptured Achilles and I've got a limp. I'm like, it's a part of me, but it's not everything about me. You know what I mean?
So you're saying some people let it become their identity almost.
Well, exactly. And it's interesting. This sort of parts with the next part. I'll bring that in. But yes, the answer is yes. You know what I mean? It's like they absolutely, look at that becoming everything about them. It's almost like they're wearing a label that says, hey, I've got cancer or something like that, right? Now, or it's almost becoming a victim mentality. I can't be successful because now I've got this, whatever, right? So compartmentalizing it is to basically say, cool, I acknowledge it, I'm here, but it's not everything. It's just one part of what I do. And yes, do I have to treat it? I've got to treat it or else it'll kill me. So I've got to figure out something, but it's not everything. My heart condition, I'm living with heart disease now. It's not everything. I just take tablets in the morning and the rest I get along with my day. Do I think about it? Yes. Do I, sometimes panic a bit when, oh, fuck, I've got a bit of a chest pain? Yeah, but if it's coming to me, I'm not going to know it anyway. I'm going to fucking drop dead before I figure it out. Touch wood, that's going to be a while. Right? Next thing is I feel that it's important to have an identity change. And here's what I mean with this. And I'm going to use Batman and Superman as the perfect example. Batman doesn't walk around with the cape 24/7 and doesn't have the mask on 24/7. He goes to the Batcave and changes into the Batman. But normally, right, he's Bruce Wayne. So I feel, to me, it feels like when you're in the work zone, when you're at work, when you're in the workspace, it'd be really, really cool. And I think Todd Herman did a book around, wearing, the power of wearing stuff, like bands and stuff like that to get you into that mindset. Top athletes do it before they get on the field. They've got, a jersey underneath that represents something, their daughter's, hairband, and they're playing for their daughter, all of these different things. But basically, identity change from the perspective of saying that when you're in business, I'm actually cancer-free or I'm actually illness-free or whatever it is. It's obviously there, but it's almost like tricking the mind into going, well, I'm putting this armor on me and today's not the day. Today isn't going to get me. Today is not going to be the day that I'm going to make excuses with this. Today isn't, and by the way, you still need to listen to your body and all the rest of the stuff. But sometimes before you'd make an excuse, now Superman doesn't show up and goes, I'm a bit tired today, I'm not going to work. He does what he has to do, right? But still, and it's the same with Batman. Do I need to, there's people that need to be saved. And
I can't be bothered fighting crime today, so
right.
I get it. Sure.
And I think the power of that is really, really amazing. For me, it's this, right? And for me, it's the, I'm going to say it, but for me, it's, that, right? So, and I wear it every day, so it reminds me of who I am and what I am, and if you just understand even just the story of, the cross of La Valette, the story is incredible, 200 knights versus 2,500 invaders. And we beat them so much that they didn't invade for another 400 years. Mm-hmm. So, that to me is, it's that power, that energy that's within us. And we hear this all the time. People are left for dead on Everest, walk down to base camp again. Left for dead. People walking past them, they're not moving in the snow. There's a lot of these cases, women lifting cars off their kids, shit like that, incredible stuff, right? So I think an identity change is really, really important.
Yeah.
Step 4, I think, is gratitude for actually having it. And it sounds a bit weird here. Some people think that a major illness is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to them. For me, as you know, you've known me for a long time, Chris, for me, even though it sounds kind of weird, but, having my Achilles and then having the heart condition, it was actually a blessing because I was just on the collision path to, the heart attack could have gone a lot worse than what it is.
Right.
It made me change the way that I am and slow down a little bit, change the stuff. And, where we are today, I think, because of that. So I think if you give gratitude to it, all of a sudden, instead of it having this negativity to it, this really bad sort of level of connection to it, giving gratitude allows it almost to be a different shift around it from the perspective of, hey, I welcome it. So it's like taking the sting out of it. I suppose that's probably the best way for me to, position it. So, because the power of gratitude itself just allows all the negativity around something to become, it almost like it just, dilutes it, right? So I think having gratitude around an illness allows it to be, all right, not as lethal. And number 2, I think having gratitude that you actually got a business that you can run also is very powerful. Because a lot of people have got an illness, but they don't even have a business, or they lose their job, or any of these type of things. So when you think about it, that's pretty awesome when you really think about that from that perspective. So you've got the ability to look at things a little bit differently. Yeah. So I think having that attitude towards it, that attitude of gratitude allows it to be a lot easier and, more manageable at some levels. And then finally, number 5, and once again, they're not in order, but number 5, I think you just got to get on with it. If it's going to come and kill you, it's going to come and kill you. If it's meant to be your demise, it's meant to be your demise. A lot of people worry about death. A lot of people fear illnesses. Oh God, I've got to do it. I'm not saying I'm running out there with arms open. I'm not. I fear it too. However, I think you've also got to come to at some level, some acknowledgement to go, well, maybe this is the beginning of the end. It just happens differently. It's a part of life just as much as death is. And once again, I'm an amateur at really trying to explain it and live with it. I can only say what it's been on my behalf. But for me, you just got to get on with it. Live fast, live lucky, live strong, live, I love that. Even though, we found out with the bike.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. That just live strong helped millions of people get on with it and get through it. Even though, there was that whole debate around the, drug doping.
Doping, yeah.
But really, he's an incredible athlete. It really is. And I get it. It's still worth cheating you doing that thing. But as an athlete, he's still incredible. Testicular cancer, done all. But just the live strong influenced millions to get up and move through it and do whatever. And that's what I want to say. Get on with it. Our band, I don't know if I've got one here, but, It's the only, have you got one up? There you go. You got one up, right? The only way is up. We're not just going, oh, maybe think about it being up. There you go, right? It's the only way is up. That's it. There's no going backwards. We're going to move forward because at the end of the day, how many people have been in remission? How many people have gotten through depression, alcoholism, drug addiction? You know what? And become amazing people. So with your business, don't try to fight it. Accept it, understand it for what it is, but teach it who's the owner as well. I think that's an important part. Shift that identity, compartmentalize it, and don't let it become your identity. It's not. It's just one part. Because guess what? 3 months before you were diagnosed, it wasn't your identity. All of a sudden, now everybody goes, I'm a cancer survivor. No, you're not. You just had an illness that you've moved through it. And just saying that, I'm a cancer survivor. It's like you just had something and you're a fucking human and you've got the ability to kick that in the ass. All you've done is kicked it, not survived it. You kicked it. Not all cancers are going to kill you, right? So do you know what I mean? Like I think some people get stuck in that and then it allows them to drain the life energy out of them. And business is just an extension of that life energy, isn't it? We said this before, Chris. We haven't worked a day in our life in the last probably 6 or 7 years since I've been running Up Coach. It's just been fun. We've often spoken about that.
Yeah.
And once again, I think you just got to get on with it. But once again, I'm not the expert here. I can only share what I see. But I think if you think about these and you start to apply them and you do it a bit every day, if you acknowledge it, compartmentalize it, put your Batman suit on, Superman suit on, give it gratitude and then get on with it, I think you're going to be a lot more successful than make excuses, allow it to get on top of you, become this victim. You don't have a suit of armor around you, hate it every day and, sit on the couch all day.
That's right. And I think the greatest thing is we have the ability to choose. Well, the business owner has the ability to choose. You can, A, sit on the couch all day, or B, decide to follow through those 5 steps. Acknowledgement, compartmentalization, if that's a word, identity change, gratitude, and then getting on with it. So you can choose which way you want to go. It's completely up to you. The only other thing I was thinking about while you were speaking, Nick, was the element of time. Because for some people, it will take longer to maybe go through those 5 steps than for others. For some rational thinkers, they might, shoot through and get to number 5 pretty quickly. But for some other people, it might take them months to get through.
Well, exactly. Look, I think it's a work in progress, isn't it? Usually illnesses and stuff like that, you got to deal with it for a bit of time. And it's the mental anguish. I remember I was just talking to somebody and he said, it's this, I've got a bit of a thing around my breast for his wife. Oh, God, I feel like I'm a bit fluid. Oh, God, I've got this pain here and oh, God. And now they've become this, and I'm like, that's weird. He goes, that, and we've also looked back at 3 months ago, we were like this. 8 months ago, she lost her hair. 1 year ago, we were done. And he said, it's almost like this mental game of where we were to where we are today. And
right.
That's interesting. To me, I always try to think about it that it's either going to be a real big speed hump and you're never going to be able to climb it, it's going to kill you, or 2, it's a speed hump you're going to got to get over. And once again, I'm not saying I'm not welcoming death. I've got plenty of life in me. And do I think about death? The answer is yes. Do I think about sometimes these things? Of course, it's around us. Everybody knows someone that's had a life-threatening illness. Everyone.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, you've just got to go, well, do I want to live in that world or don't I? For me, it's not a good thing. And by the way, I've had people to support me. I remember my wife, she's like, what are you doing? Get out of bed, get changed, get up, get out,
That's
get to work.
Yeah.
We've got 2 kids to support. What are you doing? And I was like, no, I want to feel sorry for myself. I need to feel sorry. She goes, get up. As simple as that. Like, there's no sympathy or empathy. It's like, get up, get out.
Yeah, that's the step 5. Get on with it.
Get on with it.
She was helping you to get on with it.
And that's a good thing. And it's a blessing. And, even though I'm the guy that goes, dude, you never stop and you're always focused. And, sometimes, well, you opt out of it. Especially with my leg was worse than the heart part. Because it's 6 months, boot, plaster. And, trying to tool with it, it was pain in the butt.
Yep.
So you could easily fall and slip into that. Some people, depression, alcoholism every day. I just watched a series recently, 10 years, people. One guy had 10 years worked it, and he's a functioning alcoholic. 1 bottle of scotch every day for 10 years.
Wow.
Crazy. But guess what? He sort of got on with it. He was working. Like 8 out of 10 people are functional alcoholics. Go to work every day. Right? It like drinking every day, at work, at lunchtime, at morning tea, on the way out.
Wow.
It's great. I mean, it's crazy. 1 in 5 people suffer some type of drug and or alcohol related condition in Australia. It's pretty crazy, right? So once again, I thought that this was kind of relevant to speak about it, to do. If this is you, well, there's ways around it. And, I'm going to put a plug in here. If you also need help with this stuff, either reach out to people like us or reach out to somebody that's a professional. Psychologist, psychiatrist, somebody that can absolutely help you deal with this so it doesn't affect your business or infect your business as much. Because this could be a virus for your business that'll go throughout the whole company, So, and it just happens to be more powerful than whatever the symptom that you're facing. It can populate through, 50 people in a company.
Very much so.
The infection could be much more severe than you even think it's going to be.
Yeah. And you could be infecting your business without knowing it to a certain degree.
Correct.
Yeah. Guys, this has been a really good episode. Those 5 steps are going to be gold if you're struggling through some form of major life event, illness, or anything that's shifting your life in some way and you're trying to keep your business on the right track. If, like Nick said, if you need help, reach out or find a professional that can assist and do so. If you have any questions or feedback around today's episode, please shoot it through to ask@upcoach.com.au, and we'll be back with another episode next week. So thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
We'll see you all again soon. Bye now.
Bye for now.